This race is brought to you by Protexol, proud sponsor of the SVT Renegade Racing League. Join our live broadcast every Sunday on the Slide Job Racing Network. Season 3 is underway now. Our lobby opens at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and racing begins at 7. For more information about the league or to join, follow SVT Renegade Racing on Facebook. Protexol. It delivers, people act. Visit Protexol.com to learn more. Enjoy tonight's race.
Round number 6 of SVT Gen6 Renegade action comes to you from the Irish Hills, Michigan International Speedway. We've had 5 different races this season and 5 different winners. Will we make it 6 as we approach the halfway point? We'll find out in just a matter of moments. So glad you could join us, everyone, here on the Slide Job Racing Network. I'm Marty Sakala. Qualifying taking place at the moment. There you see how the current standings look. Well, we just want to first off say apologies for last week. We took last week off as I specifically had some other stuff I had to get to that was of higher responsibility and higher on the priority list that I wanted to get done before I was overdue. So because of that, we canceled on Sunday night. But we are back here tonight at Michigan International Speedway. Last week was at Talladega. Greg Jolly took home the win, the 5th different winner of this season. We don't have our point standings graphic as we're having some technical difficulties with that. But here's how things look with the 2 drops in effect. Dalton Steele has a 4-point lead over Johnny Hurst. Top 2, all Toyotas in the standings. Michael Casey is 3rd. He has 5 points back. 4th spot is Mark Morton, who is 12 points behind. And in 5th is James Wagoner, who is 17 points back. As qualifying currently underway, Michael Lawrence just gathered the top of the charts with a 39.45. We'll bring up the driver of the number 45. This is Dalton Steele. Mark Morton just jumped up to 2nd on the boards. New paint look for Steele here this week on the Slide Job Racing Network. And as he makes his way off of turn number 4, this is a slower lap for the number 45. Let's go to Mark Morton. Oh, this is an interesting paint scheme. We checked his paint scheme beforehand on the replay that we had from the previous race, and it was set as the Cobalt Tools paint ride. Now he has a Busch Beer paint scheme, which I would not have expected off of a Jimmy Johnson paint scheme, as Morton is slower on lap number 2. One driver making his debut is on the racetrack with 20 seconds left to go. Will be his lone lap in qualifying. This is Jonathan Vandenberg in the number 26. We'll see where he clocks. But better make sure he gets to the line quickly. As he makes his way across the start-finish line, he clocks in at 39.98. That's good for 18th quickest. But we are set to go racing. Michael Lawrence is your pole sitter once again on the front row for tonight. With that being said, let's meet the field of 23 ready to take the green at Michigan. Here's a look at your starting lineup. Cheeseburger Lawrence, Michael Lawrence is on pole position with a 39.412, and next to him on the outside, it's Mark Morton in car number 48. Row number 2, it's the number 19 of Rick Baldwin, and next to him, it's your points leader, Dalton Steele, who is in car 45. Row number 3, Michael Casey, who is in the number 6. Next to him, Joseph Causey. He's been able to make the paint scheme swap from the 8 to the 60. Rounding out the top 8, Richard Hartman, the 3rd in the number 52, and next to him, it's Michael Taylor in the 35. Rounding out the top 10, it's Jeff Scott inside of row number 5, and next to him, it's Chris Ramsey in the number 4. Row 6, Paul Helms in the number 64. Next to him, it's good old Jolly Greg Jolly in the number 13, last week's winner. Row number 7, Matt Barker, the Aces in the number 96. And next to him, Peter Hartman back with us. Actually, his first start of the season, I believe, in car number 12. And in row 8, Bradley Worley in the number 88. Next to him, it's the return of Matt Benke in car number 36. Getting everything all figured out here. Here as we go for the rest of the field. Row number 9, Chad Hawkins in the 84, next to Jonathan Vandenberg in the 26. Row 10, Thomas Stanley, who's in the 62, and Brianna Lauren in the number 7. Row 11 gives us Stephen Shue in the 00, next to Chris Barker in the 46. Rounding out the field for tonight, Jeffrey Ledford, who is in car number 01. As you see the field here roll off as we're moments away from game time. Here at Michigan International Speedway, let's give you your race format for this evening's race. 100 laps and 200 miles. Fuel window expected to be 50 laps. So just one stop we are expecting, coming exactly a halfway, but probably 2 stops because drivers would most likely have to pit again. Drivers with a bunch of sets of tires they can use tonight, and of course, as a result from the past few weeks. One quick repair. Of course, the last broadcast we had at Kansas Speedway provided a lot of consistent racing and helped out when it comes to having clean shows. So it's round number 6 of the season. And we've got a fun one for you around the corner. Field is off at turn number 4. We'll go one more lap until we get the green flag. Not too sure why we're taking the additional lap. I believe it's to get everybody all bunched back up here as we get set to go back to green here. Of course, like I mentioned, 5 different races and 5 different winners. Dalton Steele, your points leader, still looking for that win. Michael Casey has picked up a win earlier on in the season. Same with, I believe it was Eddie Morris. If not, it was the 60 of Joseph Causey a couple weeks ago. Would have to double check. Greg Jolly, as we mentioned, won at Talladega a few weeks ago. But a pretty good field as lights are still on the pace car. We'll get a quick check here real quick. We're going to mute the audio for right now. All right, so the reason why we are taking some additional pace laps is that Mark Dorsey, who is supposed to be our race admin, I believe, for tonight, lost his internet connection. Timed out at the most perfect time here. So while we're at it, let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. Already 14 viewers amped up to get the green flag. The SVT Renegade Racing chat is rooting for Richard, both of the Richards. Thomas S. is hoping everyone has the best. That's Thomas Stanley to be specific. Hope to put on a show in the first race here. Mark Morton says the paint scheme is for Dougie. Okay, that makes sense. And hello to Unknown. We have someone in the chat named Unknown. But thanks for tuning in, everybody, and hope you guys have a great, hope you guys enjoy the race here today. Couple of area shots we'd like to show you here as we get set to go with green. As hello to Renee, rooting for team number 6 for Mike Casey. Couple drones we like to always have here on the Slide Job Racing Network. Here's one as the field's making their way off of turn 2. This one's inside the racetrack. Second one is a little bit further back from before. Here's a listing from Greg Jolly. All right, well, we're having some audio difficulties with that, but we are set to go racing. Field making their way off of turn number 4 as we come to green. iRacing pace car is on pit road. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? We're near the Motor City in Detroit. We're in the Irish Hills. It's showtime in Michigan. Field coming off at turn number 4, and it's Mark Morton who leads the opening lap after passing Michael Lawrence for the race lead. That 47 always has an interesting paint scheme. This one looks like the back looks like it's off of a picnic table. Let's see, as I say that, he is sideways, makes a save in the 47. Of course, with the Gen 6 cars here, got to be careful with cold tires, especially on the bottom. The middle groove you're okay with, but you can see all the spots he lost from having to get out of the throttle. Dalton Steele has made his way up towards second, making his way past the number 60 of Joseph Causey. Trouble. Peter Hartman, they just briefly went through the lawn, the number 12. We'll have 2 Hartmans in the field with the Protexol, not the purple and black, white Protexol colors. I think this may be a throwback paint scheme. I'm not too sure. But making a start with us here today as he pulls off track. And whoa, one just got right in front of us. That was Matthew Barker, who makes an impressive save. He merges up the track back in 15th in a 3-wide situation. We did, though, just have a change for the race lead. Joseph Causey takes her up to the point, and here comes Dalton Steele underneath. Who leads the lap here at the line? It's Causey in the 60 out in front. MIS, a track you can go full throttle on if you're in the draft. At some points, you may just need to loof off of it, but easy to run in packs here at MIS. And as you can see, the draft paying off on the outside. Michael Casey moves to second, gives the number 60 Causey a bump draft into turn 3. Steele and Morton, both drivers have come oh so close to taking wins this season. I look at a bunch of races, for example, with Steele. You look at Dover, you look at Auto Club. Daytona as well was a factor. Last week, nearly won at Talladega, but fell short. Can today be the day that he scores that first win? So the field is 2 by 2 here amongst the front 8 further back. Richard Hartman in that 12th spot's been fading. He started from 12th, now moves his way down to the 13th position. See, he's right up next to Safer Beer, which definitely at points. I remember in iRacing in the past, it has been at some points the fastest way around the track. But I mean, when you run Gen 6s at Michigan, any groove is possible. It's Michigan. It's got all that progressive banking here. And I remember the final Gen 6 race at Michigan I was in attendance at for the NASCAR Cup race, and that was a race that was a lot of fun. As you see the field here, mostly single file down the back, and now Mark Morton pops out of line and peeks downstairs for the lead. Ryan his way next to the apron, which is possible. And Morton puts the Busch Light colors out in front of MIS. Causey may have briefly led the line. If not, it came down to the thousandths. We know that. On board with the 6 of Michael Casey. He's off at turn number 2. Causey getting a nice, opening up a nice gap with Casey and Steele side by side for second. It's both of them in dirty air, I guess you could say. How about Jeff Scott? Up there in the 4th position, but now he's 3 wide with a 19 of Rick Baldwin stuck in the middle and nearly makes contact with a 48, and Baldwin is sideways. You do not want to be loosey-goosey when in the middle of a 3-wide situation. That can just lead to disaster. Somehow it didn't for Rick Baldwin. Back up front, though, Michael Casey wants the lead. Over Causey, he's able to pump that one back in line and now see if he can get that push from the 45. There you see the bump draft that happened going into the corners. And here comes Steele. That looks low for P2. This is from the back of Joseph Causey. As you see, as the two are side by side for position, this just helps that 60 car pull away. Opening up a small gap as this Smorgasbord for second. Able to continue its way off at turn number 2. Let's see if Steele can get in that hole before Jeff Scott pulls up to his quarter panel, and luckily he's able to. Biggest movers of the race early. Jeffrey Ledford up 9 positions. Matt Benke is up 7 spots. A pair of guys up 6, Stephen Shue and Chris Barker. Noma TV tuned in. Thanks for joining us this evening, as well as Jenny rooting for Michael Casey. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, as we're currently working lap 10 of round number 6 of the SVT Gen6 Renegade Series. Jeff Scott scrapes the wall off at turn 2. I may have had to back out of the throttle. One driver below the apron. That was the 4 of Chris Ramsey. He's able to save it and keep it straight. Now, if you are new to the SVT Renegade Series, I did confirm, by the way, Joseph Causey did win 2 weeks ago at Kansas Speedway, leading the most laps. He has a lot of positives, a lot of momentum whenever the series goes to intermediates. Won 2 weeks ago at Kansas, could be the first 2-time winner. Casey looking to do so as well, as again they're door-to-door for position. It's opened the gap for Joseph Causey to 0.4 of a second. And Casey, Morton, and Steele, the early parts of the season, I think Casey tapped the wall in the center of the corner. In the early portions of the season, those have been the 3 that have been dominant. Have always been the ones that are tough to beat, but at some times in some races, you get that surprise driver. Causey a couple weeks ago, for example, won in his debut with SVT Gen6 Renegade Series. You go back to Auto Club Speed. Oh, Scott goes around off of Baldwin. Everybody has to scatter. And duck. No! You guys had seconds to avoid him. And then that happened. Michael Taylor with the ARCA brakes as the first yellow flag flies. I was about to mention Jeffrey Ledford, too, who had won a couple weeks ago at Auto Club. But a big accident, and the most damage goes to Michael Taylor. There's Jeff Scott in the number 38. We're going to take a look at this real time, or from half speed, and show you what happened. Did Scott just try and clear up on Baldwin? I think he may have, and just pinched Baldwin to the wall, too. In that case, there was no room. And so he has been spinning for already a couple seconds. Here comes the second pack trying to dodge everything. And Taylor had enough room, and that's a heavy impact that puts Scott all 4 wheels up in the air. Show you in real time. Get you the onboards in just a moment. We do have pit stops, though, underway. Some drivers coming in, others deciding to stay out. There's Causey on pit road, the race leader, as he makes his first stop. At this rate, drivers would have to go to lap 64 to pit and go all the way. So 4 tires in fuel as Causey wins the race off pit road. Moore in second. Ramsey decides to go fuel only in third. Casey fourth, and Dalton Steele rounds out the top 5. We do have the top 3 that stayed out. Michael Lawrence claims the lead back once again in the number 47. Let's get some onboards here for you. We'll watch Jeff Scott. I would like to watch, though, too, the onboard with Michael Taylor. So the wreck's already happening. He stays in the gas. He lets off. He could have turned to the left at this point to avoid it. Nope. So the first yellow is out. Peter Hartman does get the free pass, but he's a lot of laps down. And lights are off. We are coming back to green, this time by so field doubled up here as we get set to go back to the green flag. Michael Lawrence, Bradley Worley, row number 1. Chad Hawkins, Joseph Causey, row 2. Mark Morton, Chris Ramsey, row 3. Michael Casey, Dalton Steele, row 4. Rick Baldwin, Matt Benke round out the top 10. Michael Taylor and Jeff Scott able to get their cars back going. And as you can see from the 35, he did use a quick repair. I don't know if Scott needed a quick repair, but obviously with that big of an impact he took off of a 35, that probably would have been likely. All right, we're coming back to green. 15 laps going up on the board. Lawrence, the control car, as he has the right to fire in the Geico restart zone. And there he goes as he catches row number 2 sleeping. Look how much time Chad Hawkins lost in that 84. And I think he was one that went through pit road but forgot to get in his box, so he had to stay out. And just look at the gap the top 3 has over 4th place. Causey with a huge head of steam on both the 88 and the 47 off of 2. See if he makes a move. It's Worley that goes for the slingshot for the lead. And Causey wants to go with him. So Bradley Worley goes back out. It goes out in front for the first time now. Causey with a lot of momentum after Worley got super tight. And a big run for Morton as we're 3 wide for 3rd. Casey using the apron to gather some momentum. And how about Jeff Ludford in that 01 up there? He started all the way back from 23rd. He won at Auto Club earlier this season. So he knows how to get it done on 2-mile D-shaped tracks. Could possibly do it once again. We'll have to see. Steele it sideways. Around he goes along with Lawrence. As Lawrence hits the wall, I don't think Steele hit anything. And I think they may have been the only two. Oh, we got more of their action. Stanley in the 62 involved, coming to the, as the drivers were slowing down. But Dalton Steele in it, and same with Michael Lawrence. Alrighty, let's show you what happened between the two. So coming off the corner, oh, the hole just closed up. And Worley got in the back of the 45. You see Benke also was involved in this too. And just look at how close that shot is. Let's watch in real time. Great car control from Steele to keep it out of the wall. Left side right on board with him. Remember, this is your points leader coming into the night. Now let's go with Michael Lawrence. That's a pretty good impact with that safe barrier. So 19 laps, or 18 laps rather, in the books. And Joseph Causey has taken the lead. Some drivers pitting in. With that being said, we're going to step aside, take our first break of the night. Stay with us here on Sly Job Racing Network. Second caution is out at Michigan.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Smooth sculpted lines, impressive hardware, aggressive stance. It can only mean one thing. 'Tis the season to get out and tailgate. Right now at every Bob Johnson, buy any new or used truck, we'll throw in a Mafia-ready folding table absolutely free. Bob Johnson, this is where the savings are.
Bob Johnson.
We start with fresh, never frozen ground beef, follow it with our homemade meat hot sauce, and finish it with your choice of toppings, always made to order. Our world's greatest cheeseburgers will make you say,
Gimme, 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 feel great.
Second caution just about set to wrap up for Dalton Steele and Michael Lawrence spin. Let's reset the field and show you how they look. Joseph Causey and Mark Morton make up the front row. Row number 2, Jeffrey Ledford and Mike Casey. Row 3, that is Chris Barker and Rick Baldwin. Greg Jolly and Richard Hartman make up row 4. Rounding out the top 10 is Matthew Barker and Stephen Shue. There will be 80 laps remaining here at the Irish Hills, and when we come back to the green flag. And caused the control car, and he had a heck of a restart. Let's watch the third place driver closely, see if he gets caught sleeping. That in Mike Casey. Maybe even the entire outside row and see if they're caught sleeping. There's the jump from Causey. Morton could get a hole. Nah, probably wouldn't go down low because Casey is just barely right there. Doesn't want him to let off. Man, look at Ledford pushing all over the back of that 48. You see with Causey too, trying to slowly break the draft off that 48 just so he doesn't get a lot of momentum. But here comes Morton. Drives it in deep into turn number 3. Ledford drives it in deep. He washes up the hill. Casey underneath to take the third spot and clears. But can Morton take the spot at the line? No, Causey has the preferred momentum of the draft from Casey. Now a run for Baldwin downstairs to take it 3 wide for third. As he may go for second in that unsponsored ride. Again, doesn't have the draft. High side's where you want to be going down the back straight as you're on board with the number 01 of Ledford. Now there's the send. Ledford had to get on the binders pretty good to avoid hitting Morton. Here comes Casey, decides to go up to the top shelf, and Causey shuts the door. Casey counters this back downstairs with a slingshot, and now Causey tries the side draft. Casey, the new leader at MIS. Now Morton doesn't have the preferred line. Ledford underneath for third. But now may have to tuck it back in line. Richard Hartman the third. After a tough start, he's running in the 5th position. Causey likely going to take this race lead back off of turn 4 and lead at the line, which he will. Now, when we get into these final few laps at Michigan, because we're seeing a lot of single file action, the drivers really curl up together like it's the Indy 500. You'll see the leader trying to be like a snake. Try and break the draft. Low, high, low, high. Talk about that later on when the time comes. Ledford underneath for third, but like I said, just does not have the momentum he needs. Casey tries a different line. See if he can try the crossover maneuver. It worked for him last time on Joseph Causey. Will it work this time? Gets the preferred banking off the corner as Causey went for the low line. Meanwhile, 3 wide behind them. It's Jolly, Taylor, and Worley. Good to see Taylor back up there in the 10th position as he's recovered since the first caution of the race. We see everybody all single file off of 2. Everyone just trying to stay patient. No one want to really make any moves out of whack. Morton tried to get a run, meanwhile, off at turn number 4. Couldn't get it on Casey. Top 6 drivers all nose to tail, all separated by about 0.7 of a second. They're always single file on the straights. When they get in the corners, then they'll try and make some moves. Ledford wants third back from Morton. Oh, sideways off for 2. That's Jolly. And man, that's maybe not done yet. Wow, what a save. Ooh, and that's bad. Lawrence and Lauren get together. Everybody still keeping it straight for now. Lawrence is still sideways. Oh my goodness, that was a lot of wild stuff happening that all started with Greg Jolly getting sideways off of turn 2, and he's lost a boatload of spots. Now we go back up towards the front where Ledford's lost positions. Here comes Baldwin. That's the race for 4th. Justin Matlock, who just subscribed, thanks for joining us. He's written from Michael Casey and says, number 6, shake and bake. Well, he was trying to shake and bake last week at Talladega. Can he get some help this week at Michigan? We'll see. As you see with all the cars have spread apart, with us being a couple laps at least into this run. Casey trying to get a toe underneath on Causey, but like I said, with Gen 6 cars, it's just so tough to pass. Here at MIS, the person that always has the biggest advantage, it's the man that's the leader in the clean air. There's the bump into turn number 3. Morton trying to make a run again. Again, can't really get it to stick. Worley looks for 5th on Rick Baldwin, tucks it back in line. Meanwhile, behind them, Taylor is side-by-side trouble. Peter Hartman off the track once again as he's gone through the grass. Is able to keep her going. Back up front, Baldwin for 5th. Still has it. Worley tried to peek his nose underneath, but couldn't. Here we go with Morton again for P2. This is going to be like the same old song and dance, but that time it worked for Morton with the late slider off of 4 to move up to second. There's the bump to the 40A, and Causey's a sit and duck into turn number 1. Shake and bake, Casey says. Morton underneath. He can't make the slide job, though. The top 2 still door-to-door in the center of 1 and 2. And now Morton may be the biggest loser in all of this, because he does not have the drafting line. Now he finds his way back to 3rd, so Casey is able to take away the 2 spot. Now he's going to have to hope for a push from behind by Casey. And that seems to be the thing. If you want to pass the leader, it seems like you're going to need to gather some help. Try and lay back to the guy behind you, and hopefully he or she gives you a huge bump draft in order to take a spot away. Jimmy Pilan in the chat. I believe one of our drivers as well this season, rooting for the 48 of Morton, 38 of Scott, 96 car of Matt Barker, as well as the 19 of Rick Baldwin. Top 3 drivers all nose to tail, 3 wide for 4th meanwhile. Baldwin looking to take away the position. And he gets it from Ledford. Now Worley goes for 4th spot. Great race happening behind the top 3. And they're all still 7/10 behind leader Joseph Causey. And Ledford, the biggest winner there. He goes 2 for 1 to take away 4th. And now tries to make a charge towards your top 3. Now Worley pitted on lap number 18, and he did take tires in field. That was after the second caution came out. Doesn't make too much of a difference at a track like Michigan. At a short track, it would make a lot of difference. Back up to the race for P2 between Casey and Morton. So you're on board with the number 6 as he, again, tries to find his way to close in on Causey. It seems like it may be coming down to pit stops, possibly. Pit stops and yellows with the way this race is broken out. It's got some other good racing further back. Yes, we're focused on this race for P2. We also have a good race for 10th happening. Richard Hartman, Chad Hawkins, Dalton Steele up there. Remember, he was involved in the second yellow. Hartman's in the wall, and contact even further with Hawkins. Bad luck for both the Protexile cars today, as the 52 of Hartman is fading back, and he has some pretty good damage on that right side fender. So that puts him all the way back in the 14th spot. As I was about to say, Dalton Steele is trying to recover from that second caution where he spun out. You can see he's got some left side damage from the contact, so I would assume he didn't use a quick repair. But at this rate, with how fast this car's going, not making its moves really too much up towards the front, I think he's just trying to hang in there for right now. Now he's trying to side draft off of Hawkins to take away the 11th position. And he's got company from the ace and Matt Barker behind him. That did work there. Well, back up in the front of the field. We still focus on your top 3. All nose to tail caution flag is out. We got trouble. You've got Hartman in the 52. The other car sideways. That is Banky in the 36. So we have our 3rd yellow, and it's gone from bad to worst for Richard Hartman. There's the Amtrak 36 of Banky making his return on the Slide Job Racing Network. Let's take a look and see what happened. Banky had a huge run on the 52 as they made their way into turn number 1. Gave him a little bit of a bumper. Scott luckily able to avoid it. And just around the 2 went. Let's get you a real-time shot of this. It's right on board with Hartman. There we go with Matt Benke. There's the bump. And probably an apology after that. That's sideways. Everybody on pit road here. And a reminder, this would not put them the distance when it came to fuel. This would put them to lap 86 on a max run before they would have to come in for fuel. But again, a lot of tires playing big dividends, and drivers are taking advantage of the tires here today. Ledford could be in a good position off of pit road, and I think he will. Causey wins the race off pit road. Morton second, Casey third, Ledford fourth, and Rick Baldwin is fifth. Bradley Worley sixth, Michael Taylor seventh, Chris Barker eighth, Chris Ramsey ninth, and Dalton Steele rounds out the top 10. While we are under this caution flag as the field comes back up to the iRacing pace car, let's see if we can talk with the driver. Let's take a look at who we could talk with. Let's talk with the 48 of Mark Morton, currently in second. Mark, it's Marty up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, man. How's this car feeling? Obviously, what we're seeing right now, it's a lot of tough to pass, but how is it feeling, though, for you?
She feels good. Short and long run definitely feels good. I got some of that bush power with me tonight. So she definitely feels good. It's yeah, it's just I know she'd feel a lot better if she was running the P1.
What's it gonna take to pass Joseph Causey for the race lead as things look? I mean, yeah, what is it going to take? Because I've seen you have points trying to lay back and try and get a bump draft to take the lead.
Well, Joseph is hands down a really good driver. He knows, you know, if you want to pass him, you got to do it on the inside because the outside line is the preferred line. And if you try it on the inside, and if you don't succeed trying to pass him, you're just going to get freak trained by all the cars behind you. My guess would probably only be for him to mistake. And you know, the past couple of races running with him, he's been mistake free. So it's gonna cost him some lucky sevens for him to get that mistake for me to capitalize on.
Alrighty, man. Well, we wish you the best of luck here in the rest of this one.
Appreciate it, bud. Thank you.
Alrighty, that is Mark Morton as being set to come back to the green flag. All right, third caution, just about wrapped up here. As I don't know what's going on here with the 12 of Peter Hartman. But with that said, Causey and Morton first and second, Jeffrey Ledford third, Michael Casey fourth, and Rick Baldwin rounded out the top 5. About Ledford up 19 spots as we get set to come back under the green flag. Now they have turned the lights back on, so they can put him back on the lead lap. Alrighty, ready to come back to the green flag. The rest of the top 10 here. In 6th, Bradley Worley. 7th, Michael Taylor. 8th, Chris Barker. 9th, Dalton Steele. And 10th, Jeff Scott. We've got 2 drivers in the top 10, at least up 10 spots. Chris Barker, who is 8th, and Jeff Ledford, who is 4th. All right, I think we're good once again. Again, let us know who you're rooting for in chat, and we're glad you could join us here this evening on Slide Job Racing Network. Celebrating the Bills' victory here in our home base of Western New York as they defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. That was a good one. And now the attention turns to this. Here we go, back to the green flag. There's a stack up, though, on the inside line. As Causey, I think, went a little bit later than a lot of other drivers expected. But here we go, and Casey using the advantage of the leader to take second from Morton. Rick Baldwin maybe for the fourth position, trying to take that back from Ledford. No. The front 6-7 drivers single file. Here comes Casey. Let's see if he sends it in on Causey for the lead. Yes, he does. Oh, he is sideways in turn number 3. Dirt tracking it in the corner, trying everything to get that number 6 out in front. Doesn't have the draft, though. Causey remains the leader here at MIS, but the rear wheels are getting lifted off by Morton. Causey hanging on for dear life right now for this lead. Everybody trying to get him one up in the wall, and that is the 46. Everybody trying to scatter. That's Chris Barker, who was in the top 10 earlier on. And the North Wilkesboro native is dropping back like a freight train. Here we go for that top spot as Morton tries once again. How about Ledford? And that 01 up to third as the 6 is trying to bump draft him. Now the 48 couldn't get that hole as Ledford was to his outside. And Ledford knows how to get the job done here on 2-mile tracks. Look how much the 60 car gained. Using all that air, I think maybe Ledford at the same time had the wheels lifted. Here he goes as Ledford sends it in. He's trying to side draft off the 60. That's a smart move. No one's tried to do that yet on Causey. That may put him out in front. Again, he doesn't have the help. Everyone wants to keep that car hugged up next to the safer barrier. Causey hangs on for now. Front 8 all under the lead pack. Dalton Steele also back up here with the leaders. He's in the 6th position. Recovering after the second caution we had in the race. Now Ledford falling down the pack. Was in second a couple moments ago. He's down to 5th, and here we go for the lead. Michael Casey taking a peek downstairs. And the help from Morton may pay off. Does Morton stay with him? He does. Causey left out to dry. And I think Casey took the lead at the line. And that definitely helped out. Advantage to Casey in the 6, and is Morton, a fellow Ford driver, falls back to 3rd. Now Causey looks underneath as you're on board from the 3rd place perspective. Causey sending it deep, throws the slide job on Casey, and puts the Rockstar right back out in front, but the 2 narrowly collided. And Casey hanging on thanks to the crossover, and Morton decides it's time to go with Causey. What a race this is. The top 7 drivers all under a blanket at MIS. And people said that this package sucked in real life. I get it. But with the pack racing we're seeing on iRacing right here, right now, it's incredible. See, Causey remains out at the point. And they're 3 wide further back with Ledford stuck in the middle. Racing with both Baldwin and Worley once again. Dalton Steele now back in the top 5. You see there's 2 packs at the moment. One led by Causey, the other one led by Shue. And 10th is Ledford. Got bumped by the 88 of Worley and saved it. That cost him a lot, leaving everybody out single file, and I think Taylor may have given the 88 a small shove. Let's watch that second pack, shall we? Of Shue, Ramsey, Barker, Hawkins, Jolly, Helms, and on back. And for the race lead, Morton may have edged out Causey at the start-finish line to go to the point. Let's take a guess, folks, on it, what we think the lead changes are going to be. I forgot to keep score of them this evening. We'll know what the total is going to be when we come to the checkers post-race tonight. Morton again trying once again now. Who does Michael Casey go with? This time he goes with the 40. I think he's going back and forth between the two. As he got Morton sideways with the bump draft a little off. So Morton puts that 48 back out in front. A lot of blocking going on as Dalton Steele really wants to make his way up to the third position. And here comes Causey back to the front. We've got a lot of beverages up in the front of this field. We've got Rockstar leading, Busch Light second, Monster Energy third, Mountain Dew, Baja Blast in sixth. And that's all in the front of this pack. Oh, Steele with a big momentum on the 6 in the center of the corner. Was able to keep his foot on the throttle a whole lot more. See if Morton tries once again to go back out to the front. He's waiting on it. Now Baldwin's capitalized on Steele trying to look underneath. He takes the 4th spot away from the 45, and Steele slams the door on Ledford. Ledford faked the slingshot underneath, decided, you know what, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you this time. Another run for Baldwin. First car behind everybody is the 9th place car of Jeff Scott, who was involved in the first yellow of the race. Here comes Morton for the lead as he sends it in deep. I think for Causey personally, I think he seems okay with having somebody on his inside in the corners. And the reason why is because you can keep your foot on the throttle longer and you don't have to let off the gas too much by having that lower arc/apex. And look at the gap he has after Casey and Morton were side by side. Hang on, Dalton Steele in that 45 saves it, but it's all the way down to 7th. So as Joseph Causey's out in front, it's time for me to turn up and shut up. That means turn up the volume because it's time to crank it up here at MIS. Leaders touching, racing for the lead. And this is some good stuff between Causey and Casey, and they have broken away from third on back. How bad do you want it? Casey probably the best challenger to Causey for the top spot in my opinion. And Casey finds his way out front. Now Causey can go for the slingshot. Meanwhile, further back, it is 3 wide for 5th for a moment. Baldwin comes out with the advantage with Steele next to him. Back underneath is Causey, and the two nearly get together. And now with them side by side and Morton all alone, just trying to find a way to close in on the top two. Big runoff for 4 for Causey. Does the side draft work? I don't think it did because Morton was right behind him. Now does he decide to thread the needle? He could have taken it 3 wide to go for the race lead, but thinks better of it. And here comes Worley in the 4th position. That's the highest he's been in that real tree ride. The two barely touch off at 2. And this could help out the 48 of Morton take 2nd. Morton to P2. Steele trying to get the 4th spot back. One in the wall. It's Taylor. I think he kept his foot on the throttle and was able to keep it going. Nearly 3 wide for the 3rd spot. As Casey's hanging on to this lead, and now Causey's got company for 2nd by the 48. Everyone's trying to set it on the bottom as low as they can, but at the same time, that can give your tires contact. Whirly loose after hitting the 45 of Steele. I think a lot of people love the left side of the 45. Look how much scrapes that has. Yellow is out. I don't know for who. Checking you. Oh, it's for Brad Worley in the 88. And we're also hearing Jeff Scott may have been involved, and he was too, as he went off the racetrack. So we have our 4th caution on lap 57, and everybody will pit for fuel here and be good to go the distance. Let's see if this was related to him. Yeah, hooked by Ledford sent him around. Now how does Scott get in? Ooh, he locked the brakes up and collided with the 88. So he came in there with the ARCA brakes as well. Right on board with Scott here. Bam. Like I said, we're expecting everybody to come in this time by, and that they do. These could be the final stops of the race. And wanting to win the race off pit road, if not to be in the top 5, means everything. Ooh, Casey locked him up. He had to back it up. Overshot it. Could help out Morton win this race off pit road, especially being in front of everybody else. Let's watch this closely. Who wins it? Morton's got it. Morton wins the race off pit road. Causey 2nd. Steele 3rd. Baldwin 4th. And Michael Casey 5th. Everyone taking fuel and tires on that stint. So you see all the pit stops happening on your screen. Alrighty. So as we get set to come back to the green flag, how about a word from our sponsor in Protexol?
Enterprises, just like race teams, know when something is broken. They simply cannot meet their expectations. They've tried countless things, and though they sometimes yield small improvements, they eventually fail. Now what? Protexol has spent 35 years building a superior enterprise performance solution. COPS, Continuous Operational Process Synergy. COPS is the #1 strategy for client-owned, top-to-bottom, front-to-back enterprises and race teams to achieve exponential performance. Organizations, like race teams, Use COPS as the backbone to win. Everything from car design, engines, pit stops, races, and championships to market segment dominance. COPS equals winning? Yes, it really is that simple. So let me ask you a question. Do you want to be a leader or a follower? If your answer is a leader, then there is only one choice. COPS from Protexol. Visit protexol.com to learn more.
Lights are off as we are coming back to the green flag after our fourth caution of the day. And here's how the field looks. Mark Morton and Joseph Causey, row number 1. Dalton Steele. Rick Baldwin, row number 2. Row number 3, Michael Casey. And believe that is the 4 of Chris Ramsey in 8th, and it is. So Ramsey restarts in the 6th spot. Number 4, Michael Taylor, Stephen Shue, Chad Hawkins, Matt Barker round out the top 10. So we get set to come back to green. You may have seen Dalton Steele moving the 48 out in front. I think he's trying to send a message. Work with me, and you will be finishing first or second. You will be racing for the win. There's the fire. He's good to go. Again, nobody has to take fuel unless we get the possibility of overtime. You saw the side drive from Causey trying to gather this race lead back and being on the throttle longer than the 48. I think Morton may have gotten sideways for a moment, and that allows Causey to take the lead back. Casey looking for something off of Baldwin, meanwhile, to take the 4th spot as he is back a bunch of positions. There's a send from Casey to take 4th. Man, he kept his foot in the throttle and took that easily. Oh, Ramsey sideways. He hangs on to it. Probably driving and drinking a bottle of Jack at the same time. But he keeps it going as we watch the race for the lead, and now Dalton Steele could be a factor in this one. A Chevy, a Ford, and a Toyota battling for the top spot. Look at the hard racing between Taylor, Shue, and Baldwin. Shue has cracked the top 5 for the first time tonight. Him and Ledford are teammates, and Ledford knows how to get the job done, but remember he was just involved in that last caution. Now he's stuck in 15th, so maybe may have given Shue some pointers. Try and take him towards the front as we got one blanket. It's Taylor in the 35. Here goes Morton as he looks underneath. Steele decides not to go with them. It's a send for Morton. And he cleared the 60 off of 4. They stay side by side. And my goodness, look at the draft. Steele gets off of Causey. The points leader up to 2nd. But no Johnny Hurst in town today. It seems from the looks of it that Michael Casey, who's right in the 4th spot, will take away 2nd in points. And now we watch this battle for the top spot. Top 5 all under a blanket. .191 the top speed in a turn number 1, even with the 550 horses. While further back, Chris Ramsey, Rick Baldwin racing for 6th. And Chad Hawkins trying to rebound as well. He's been very quiet in this race. And coming back nicely. Remember if he was involved in an accident earlier today or not. Michael Taylor in the 35 is put her on pit road. Not sure if he suffered a penalty, but Causey got a little too high off a turn 4. Dalton Steele wants to capitalize on it, and same with Mark Morton. Causey trying to side draft to stop the run for the 45, but it's too late. Steele out in front, but now he's stuck in the middle. Causey kept his foot on the throttle, and the two leaned on each other. And Causey is just hanging on for dear life at the moment. He is hyped up like he's drinking coffee. Or I'm sorry, hyped up like he's drinking Rockstar. That was me Wednesday night drinking a lot of coffee. Steven Shue now up in the 4th position. Morton has dropped down to 5th. Not where he really wanted to go through. On board with Causey, that's from front. I think looking good on his end there. Let's watch from behind. With a bump drive from Steele, he got Causey sideways. Luckily able to save it. All right, here comes the run for that 45 once again. Let's see if he goes for it into turn 1. Got him sideways again. I think that's the key. I think that's what Steele's key is. Trying to get Causey maybe a little bit sideways to go for the run. Try and pull a little bump and run like it's Bristol. Let's see if he goes for it again to 3. There's the bump there. That 60 didn't even move a bit out of reaction. Not even using Newton's 3 laws of science. One of them, what has one action forces a reaction. Look at how much the front bumper is dragging down. You see the sparks flying off the back of that ride. The bumper to turn number 3. Campa goes underneath for the top spot. Is this going to work off for 4? I don't think it will. He needs Casey behind him to help him out. I think Casey is trying to help him out. Big bump draft towards the 45. Dalton Steele for the first time tonight leading. And I know what some of y'all are thinking in the chat. It's about time. Oh, what a slide job on Causey. Both of them up on the wall. 3rd and 4th have to go down low. And Causey's not going to be too pleased. Steele's probably saying sorry. How does that right side look, though? Just like the left, it's got its scrapes, it's got its bruises. And now, what do Casey and Morton do towards the leader? Matt Benke, though, has crashed. And that's below the racetrack. Because of that, we will have no caution. We'll stay green. This is also allowed the 5th place driver and Steven Shue to close in. This is getting good at the right time. There's still 30 laps to go in this race, though. Real quick, if we can, take a look at that pass for the lead. There's the bump draft that came by Casey. And then Steele, I think, just slid up and put the 60 in the wall. He could have backed out of it there for the bump. Actually put both of them in the wall. Comes a run for Causey again. And that's probably an angry Causey behind the wheel of that number 60. And because of what happened, he's probably going to race him harder and harder and harder. Steele edged him out the line, and Causey has zero help whatsoever. not able to find a way to clear off a 2. But look at that. Lost a lot of time. Casey to second. More into third. Shu could be going for fourth on that number 60. Saw as well for Kazi all the way on the apron. Try and grab a spot. This is your best racing on the track. However, though, caution waves for the 5th time tonight. Not sure on who for. We do see both Lauren and Worley slow. It could be for both of them. Let's take a look. All right, so the caution flag's already been out. Bear with us. We're going to have to use user interface, so we hate to use user interface to show yellow. Is it for Benke? Is it for Peter Hartman? Caution flag's already waved. Lights are still on there. Lights are still on there. Still on. Now we go yellow. Now, what is it for here on this yellow? We'll go back to the NASCAR cam and see what we have for you. Okay, I don't know if we had a phantom caution or not. I'm just as baffled as you. But the yellow flag is out. This could bring some strategy. Do people go for tires? Because there's some guys that have an extra set or 2 left. The answer is yes. Everyone's coming in. But the 52 of Richard Hartman decided to make a call to stay out. And I think he's the only one staying out, hoping track position is better than tires. Three wide off of pit road, and I think Morton got it thanks to pit box number 1. Steele, Causey, Casey, Shu, 1 through 5. Baldwin, Ledford, Barker, Ramsey, and Helms were the top 10. One driver staying out, though, folks. Richard Hartman trying to play some strategy. Let's step aside and take one more break. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
I figured there'll be another caution.
Smooth sculpted lines, impressive hardware, aggressive stance. It can only mean one thing. 'Tis the season to get out and tailgate. Right now at every Bob Johnson, buy any new or used truck, we'll throw in a Mafia-ready folding table absolutely free. Bob Johnson, This is where the savings are.
Bob Johnson.
All right, so I think we have the reason for the yellow here. This is Worley in the 88. Let's show you this. Racing the 84, and they got up in the wall. And we're both able to save it. However, though, for the sounds of it, iRacing triggered a yellow. But we're set to come back to green with 25 laps to go. Richard Hartman looking to play his entire strategy here. We'll see what happens as we come back to the green flag. It'll likely be a miracle if Hartman can get this done. You see Dalton Steele without any of the scrapes in the 45. He said it was time to use the quick repair. Nice run by Causey to move to Morton to second, and now Morton to the race lead as Hartman got really tight in 1 and 2, and contact with the old one of Ledford. You saw him touch the tire, ramp a reel like it was an open wheel racing car. But able to hang on to it, nearly 3 wide for second meanwhile. As Morton is out in front of MIS. And Casey trying everything to side draft off the 60. Steele up to second. Rick Baldwin up there in the 5th position, that number 19. Stephen Shue up there too in the 00. Same with Barker, one off track. It's Peter Hartman. He brings it onto pit road. No caution. Steele looking for the lead on the 48, though. Slide job works well. The Monster Energy 45 back out in front. Here comes Causey looking low. You see there with Steele shuts the door. Perfect call there. But he opened the door up to the top shelf for Morton, who gets a bump trap from Casey to take the lead. They're all scattered 3 or 4 lanes deep. Oh, big lane change for the 60. Slammed the door on Stephen Shue. And he's up to 3rd, and he wants more. Ledford recovering after the spin that involved the 88 a couple yellows ago. It's back up there in 7th. So they're 3 wide with Shue up top. Was about a Mountain Dew sandwich. Here goes Morton for the lead. If he sends it deep, he's got it. Casey to the point in the Irish Hills. And next time by, we'll see 20 laps to go. See Morton trying to send once again. But not paying dividends as things stand. There's a run looking for Ledford for 6. Oh, they touch. Everybody hanging on to it, but meanwhile, Morton looking for that lead. Watch close to see if Causey goes with him. See the 60 of Causey now underneath. And Morton shuts the door. And Shue could be a factor. Perfect try to slingshot, but Causey shut it again. Top 4 racing for the lead. Big push by Causey to Casey. To prevent the 48 from having something, now Baldwin closes in. And now watch out. The Fort Hills teammates all over your leaders. But now they could get split up here. And now we see Causey as a snake. Baldwin around and hard to the wall with Ledford. Caution waves for the 6th time today. You saw there, Causey was trying to pull off the snake maneuver. As we are back to yellow once again. Let's watch here from an aerial shot. There's just the contact, lot similar to a couple instances we've had in this race too. Luckily, nobody, though, able to hit him. So as we are under this yellow flag, let's see if we can talk with somebody. And we are going to talk to Mike Casey. Yeah, we may have 18 laps to go. We're going to talk with Mike Casey while at it. Oh, actually, hold the thought. Never mind. We'll get back to you in a bit, Mike.
Sounds good.
And Mike Casey is on pit road. Not a lot of drivers pitting. This could have been a strategy where we would have seen some drivers go back and forth between stops. Also seeing Lawrence and obviously Baldwin coming in. All right, we're going to try and talk with him once again. All righty, Mike, now that we know you got a copy and you were pitting, let's ask you this here. What was the strategy going for a late race stop? Is it trying to see if fresh tires can pay off?
Absolutely, and it's hot in here, man. I need some ice cream.
Is this something as well, maybe, a little similar to, what happened in Auto Club, how Ledford got the win?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm good on fuel. I'm good to go extra on fuel, as a matter of fact. But, yeah, I think tires are super critical here. The track temperature is up a lot, so these tires burn off after a couple laps. So, felt like it was the best move for me.
Alrighty, man. Well, we wish you the best of luck here. See what happens in the end.
Thanks, sir.
Alrighty. So we are good to come back to the green flag, and we'll have 15 to go at Michigan. Justin Matlock rooting for Casey to do it for Dale. We'll see if he can do it for Dale. Causey and Shu, your front row. Morton and Ramsey, row 2. Barker and Jolly, row 3. Holmes and Stanley, row 4. Hawkins and Laurent round out the top 10, where we'll have 15 laps of racing remaining. Again, everyone good to go on fuel. We had some drivers take a set of tires. As Causey comes back to green, we're going to let you enjoy this one. Turn up the sound here in the final 15 laps.
muted. Can't hear the stream.
All right, apologies for that. Just showing you the replay and what happened with Rick Baldwin. You did see some drivers decide to come in. Top 4 drivers that pitted, some of them being on lap 83, staying out. So the new leader is Michael Casey as we get set to come back to the green flag. We have a 9-lap shootout to decide who wins this one. Lap 83 or 89 for tires. What will pay off the most? We're about to find out. 9 laps to go. We're coming back to the green flag. See, he got a good jump. Now, Causey was leading at the last yellow, and he decided we're going to make a pit stop. And he's low on Paul Helms for 3rd. And let's remember the other storylines we're watching. Steele looking for win 1. Morton looking for win 1. Oh, Casey pulls off the track. Casey pulled off the racetrack. Oh, my goodness. Did he get penalized for jumping the start or something? He's told that he was pitting in. What an odd turn of events. Alrighty, so the leader is Dalton Steele with 8 laps to go and has company from Joseph Causey behind him. So this race is definitely turned for a turn of the good for Steele. But again, Causey, Morton, Shue, Barker all behind, and Causey's looking for the lead on the 45. And oh man, Steele tried everything this side draft. Here comes Morton, 3 wide for the race lead. The cream's starting to rise to the top at Auto Club, folks. Steven Shue has made his way up to 2nd. And he's nearly hooked from behind. A lot of drivers taking on for dear life off for 2. Barker up to 4th. Steele lost so much time. He has found himself down in 3rd. And oh man, up the track goes both Causey and Shue as they're racing hard for 2nd. Here comes Barker for the spot with 6 to go. Barker edged him out the line, but Morton's trying to run away with it. This is what he wants to see. The drivers behind him racing for 2nd so he can pull away, but he doesn't want to see that Causey getting loose. Still sideways. He needs a yellow. What a save, but that may have ended his day. Down to 12th he goes. What a save he was able to make as the caution is out now. Yellow flies. Was it for Greg Jolly in the 13? It was. It's just what Causey needed to get back in the race, but not what Morton wanted to see. Good look, contact off the 62. Again, another solo car spin breaking out here at MIS. But let's see if we have Kazi save, though. Because that was an impressive save he made. It's going to happen coming off turn 2, I believe. There it was, the contact from Barker. I thought Jolly was going to turn him there. But a good save. He is probably fuming in that race car. He knew he had the best chance at winning this race of everybody. But now it has ended. I want to see real quick what happened to Mike Casey. Let's ask him real quick. Mike, I hate to bring you back in here, but real quick, what happened?
I got a black flag for something, and I really don't know what happened. I was never given any information, so I have no idea. I guess I shouldn't have came down and got that ice cream.
Was it an iRacing black flag or a race control black flag?
I believe it was a race control, but again, I was never updated with what was going on, so I really have no idea.
We can say that it was a race control black flag. Alrighty, we'll see what happens and see if you can make a comeback after getting the free pass.
Sounds good.
So now we've got another late game changers in this one. And we're going to see how everything goes down. So we had Shu and Barker now that are playing factors into things. They have yet to win this season, have been really quiet to start the season. Shu, I believe, has only made one start. He is second in points. Barker hasn't raced the entire season. Both of them outside the top 25 in points coming on in. I'm going to check real quick and see what the... Maybe we won't be able to check and see what the penalty was for. All right, gonna try once more here. And this time it is a 2-lap shootout. This is not an attempt at a green-white checkered. This is still in regulation. Gonna be the wildest restart of the night without question. And let's reset the field and how things look after our 8th caution of the day. Mark Morton and Stephen Shu, row number 1. Matt Barker, Dalton Steele, row 2. Chad Hawkins, Richard Hartman, the 3rd. In row 3, Chris Ramsey, Michael Lawrence, row 4. Joseph Causey and Paul Helms round out the top 10. Alrighty, here we go, a 2-lap shootout. Who's it going to be? How's it going to be done? Sit down and hold on to your seats. We're ready for a good finish here at the Irish Hills of Michigan. Here we go. Your top 4, top 5 drivers. I'm making everyone in the top 7 have yet to win a race. Morton had a good jump. Shu and Steele raced for 2nd. Just what the 48 needed. A little bit squirrely was Shu. Oh, Harmon goes around. Keeps it straight though, and we go to yellow. And the big one breaks out. Hard in the wall. A couple of cars. Hawkins, one of them. Michael Casey, I think, may have gotten involved. Nope, he dodged it. Thomas Stanley, as well as Bradley Worley, and we are headed to the first of 2 green-white checkers coming up. It's a tough break. Couple of surprise drivers all torn up in this one. Let's get you another good angle of what happened there. So he got hooked off the 84 of Hawkins. We'll watch from this angle. Here we go. Yeah, they just slightly touched. Is everyone trying to avoid a lot of heavy impacts? A boatload of drivers. This will be a wild shot. Let's go on board with a couple of drivers. We'll watch Rick Baldwin first. Was committed high, nothing he could have done. Chad Hawkins. Jeff Scott. If the 84 didn't come down, that's an easy miss for Scott. Bradley Worley. We're going to watch from not from the back, but from the front. Alrighty, so you know the rules of overtime. The caution flag comes out. Before the white flag, we'll try one more time. If we get the white flag, we are going to the finish. Let's set them up once again. Mark Morton, Stephen Shue, row 1. Matt Barker, Dalton Steele, row 2. Chris Ramsey, Michael Lawrence, row 3. Big winner was Joseph Causey. He now restarts 7th next to Paul Helms. Greg Jolly and Michael Casey round out the top 10. Gonna be a wild one coming to the end. Will we make it green the checkered? We're about to find out. More in the control car for this restart. You see Barker trying to give that 48 the push. Here we go. Now can Shue cut down from the 96 to try and at least give the 48 a challenge? Steele races Barker for third, and they touch. And now Shu looking for a run down the back for the lead. Doesn't go for the pull out yet. I think he's going to try and pull out into turn 3 to avoid the block. Nope, not thinking of the idea to go for it just yet. May try for the crossover off in turn number 4. But remember, Morton's going to be like a snake off the corner. They're 3 wide for third further back with Causey all the way downstairs. White flag is out. We're on the final lap. Who's going to get their first win of the season? Morton or Shu or the field? Morton, the closest this season he came to a win was Dover this season. Shu's been quiet all season. Could tonight be the night he picks up his first? A mile away, Steele trying to close in on the top 2. Can Shu make a run on the 48? Steele wants the second spot on the 00. Different lines through turns number 3 and 4. Morton's got the 48 Busch Light paint scheme racing for Dougie. Off the corner, checkered is waving. Mark Morton, 6th different winner in 6 races. He wins at Michigan. Shu second, Steele third. Causey finishes 4th after getting loose earlier tonight. And Matthew Barker finishing 5th. But congratulations to Mark Morton for getting this one done. Now we're going to bring everybody in here in just a moment. And Morton's getting set to do the donuts and light them up. As a roughneck racing car goes to victory lane, that was the advantage. The first 2 drivers in the inside row had. If Barker couldn't win, why not give the push to the 48 and make him win it? So Morton and Shu and Steele round out the top 3. Causey 4th, Barker 5th, Ramsey 6th, Casey 7th, Lawrence 8th, Helms 9th, and Jolly round out the top 10. Here's a look at 11 through 20. With Stanley, Hartman, Hawkins, Lauren, and Worley. Ledford with a tough break as he had a really fast ride tonight. Same with Rick Baldwin. And then here's a look at the rest of the field. All right, let's bring in your top 3 here. On the first driver we'll bring in is our 3rd place driver here in Dalton Steele. Hello, Dalton. This was an up and down race here for you, man. You were involved in a caution, had a little bit of contact when racing for the lead. But overall, a 3rd place day. What do you take away from this run?
I just wish I could have done a little bit better. I mean, 3rd place, yeah, it's nice, but I'm trying to get my first win. I'm trying to snap the streak. I don't know what's going on. A lot of changes at home, but I'm keep trying every week. Don't get as much practice as I used to, but eventually I'm going to make it happen. I just got to break through.
What was the game plan going into overtime there?
Well, before the wrench got through in it, my game plan was to take the high side, get on 3rd, back up the corners like I have been. That's how I got around 1st place a couple times. And send it off in the corner and hopefully make it stick. And it did, but I had too many people vying for this position that I had while I was trying to take the positions that I wanted. So kind of made it harder to do, but it's 3rd place. I'm happy. I'll take it.
Impressive as well. You got 3rd while going through the grass to get it done. So who do you want to give shout outs to on this run?
Protect All for sponsoring us and SVT. Johnny Hurst for making this paint scheme for me in a race today. And then Peter Hartman for having Protect All and sponsoring us and being a kind-hearted individual that he is.
Alrighty, well, we'll let you go. Great run tonight, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Yep, hopefully.
It's Dalton Steele, our 3rd place finisher, and again remaining the points leader after this one. Let's go to our 2nd place finisher here this evening in Steven Shu. Steven, a great run for you, your best finish of the season. Did you take away anything from Ledford's win at Auto Club that helped you out towards tonight?
Oh yeah. Me, Ledford, and Barker, we work pretty good together.
Well, walk us through the final laps and what more you needed for Morton there at the end.
Actually, I mean, I was just glad to cross the finish line on the podium. No wreckers and checkers. As far as my biggest concern was on the restart. You know, that green-white restart. I said, as long as I can get right there with Mark, I said, and I can hit it when he hits it, I said, I've got a podium. I said, that's it. And I had a run on Mark a couple of times, and actually I was talking to him right there. He said, why didn't you go for it? I said, I don't like wreckers and checkers. I said, I'd rather just finish it clean, and I said, good win.
Absolutely. What do you take away from this one they can use towards the rest of the season? A lot of momentum that's building up for you.
I mean, honestly, I love Michigan. I don't even know where we're headed up to next, but yeah, I want to give a shout out to my team, Jeffrey Letford and Chris Barker, Wagner's Weldon. You know, want to shout out to Roughneck too, and SVT for even having me here tonight.
All righty, well, we'll let you go. Great job on the run, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thank you.
All righty, that's our second place finisher in Steven Shu. Your winner in victory lane tonight. It's the number 48 of Mark Morton. Mark, you finally got that win. How about it?
Oh, it took me a while, but I finally got it. I knew, close and close and close, and then finally, it came. Wasn't expecting it to get here, but take it where I can get it.
It wasn't easy though in those final laps. I mean, once you got the lead, it seemed like a little bit comfortable, but from guys like we were showing you right here on the replay in the background, from Steele to Kazi to Casey, it was a challenge all around this evening.
Most definitely, and I'll say it, and I said it during the race, and I'll say it again. Kazi, he's a smart racer. He knows the outside line is the preferred line to go. And the only way you can get by him is if you use up your stuff or if you got help pushing you behind. And even then, it happened numerous times. I would push Casey or Casey would push me or Steele would push one of us or we push him. And, Kazi would still find his way to get around. He could do what we couldn't do, even with 2 or 3 of us. So I definitely give hats off to Casey, Steele, and Kazi because they are God, it was fun racing them all this whole race.
Alrighty, well, next week on the schedule, going to Darlington. How are you feeling about that going there next week?
I'm ready for it. Hopefully, as I continue my top 5 run, top 5 finishes, or hopefully I'm still competitive. Darlington's not one of my greatest tracks, but I'll be as ready as I can be for it.
Alrighty, well, who do you want to give shout outs to?
Definitely first off, I want to shout out to my buddy Dougie. Paint scheme is for him. I might have to start running some more Kevin Harvick paint schemes because if I win the first time running Kevin Harvick paint schemes, I might have to keep running them instead of Jimmy Johnson. But definitely him, Rick, Jeff, and Matt, and everybody for Roughneck, and of course you and everybody in the SVT League.
Your number may have to be 29 since number 4 is kind of taken by Chris. So anyway, congratulations on the win. Enjoy it. You earned it. Well done.
Appreciate it, boss. Thank you so much.
Mark Morton, he's your winner in victory lane this evening, and congratulations to him on getting the job done. Well, with that being said, like I said, next week we go to Darlington, start time at 7 p.m. You don't want to miss out on that one. So with that, we're going to sign off this evening. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. On behalf of everyone here at the SVT Racing League, I'm Marty Sakala, signing off. Congratulations to your race winner. That, of course, is Mark Morton.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's race, brought to you by Protexol. Congratulations to the winners, and good luck to everyone next Sunday. See you then.